A quick instruction on how to take our existing thumbnail storyboards and start transferring them into being a production storyboard. So over here I've got the thumbnails that I've done where I've broken down the script. I've got a review section over here on the right where I've redrawn, but realistically you can redraw them anywhere. If you've used the other thumbnail template, that's fine, but whatever's necessary to get our shots down and also get some revision. Next thing, you should be able to download the basic storyboard template here. And of course, as far as storyboard templates go, this is just one that I've mocked up, but you can always ask your director or whoever's going to be the art director what format, what information they need. But for this, we're going to use these ones here. Switching back to my thumbnail storyboards, now I do have a bunch of layers in here, and if that is the case, what I usually suggest is for transporting everything over, we do want to kind of just make our lives a little bit easier, and I'm going to show you a little trick to do that. So rather than taking in little elements, we could have hundreds of layers here. What we're going to do is go to the very top of our layers panel and add a new layer, a little plus button here, and then I'm going to press the following buttons, which is Command or Control, Alt, Option, Shift, E. So depending on if you're Mac or PC, it's Command, Alt, Shift, and the letter E. If you're on a Mac, it's Command, Option, Shift, E. But basically, it's all of our shortcut commands and the letter E for everything. And what that does is it creates a layer at the top which has all of our layers compressed down into a single layer. So it's a nice quick one there. I'm going to undo that. There is another way of doing, which is literally shift selecting all of our layers, right click, and if we scroll down here, we can go to merge layers, and that will just smash everything down into a single layer. If you want to do it that way, there's a bunch of other ways as well, but I'm going to do that again. Control, Alt, Shift, and E. Boom, and there it is. So that's just going to be easier for me to transfer stuff across. Right, next I'm going to do is just go M4 marquee tool. There it is there, and I'm going to start transferring my shots across. So you may want to draw over shots that you're happy with. You could just redraw them afresh, but you can see these are pretty scrappy, but I'm just going to grab the first shot. I'm going to go Command C, switch over to my storyboard template, Command V. There he is there, and then of course transform, Control T again, and just check your constraints that you aren't distorting it, and let's just put him in place roughly over here. So if you do need to, you can go outside of the box, but this will kind of work for now. Then I'm going to go to my next shot. Let's call it this one. This one's quite a long, doing quite a long panoramic shot for this one. Command C and back to here, Command V. So by having it all in just the one little layer, I can easily go through and start adding these shots in together. So I'm actually going to stretch this one out a little bit, make this go over a couple of panels as required. Cool. And we continue from there. So we go back and forth. If you've got large enough screen, you could potentially have both of these open at the same time. But the simple thing is marquee tool, drag it over your layer, Command C, and bring it into your template, and Command V, and then of course transform. Quick shortcut for your transformations, with your move tool selected, you can go auto select. It might be quicker just to switching between layers, and also show transformation controls. And of course when you're transforming, just to save a bit of time, if you've got the link between the width and the height, that'll just constrain your proportions. Alright, so hit enter once you're happy with that transformation, and we'll jump to the next one. There we go. And I'm not going to do all of these, but hopefully you'll get the idea. Now the other issue that we've got here is we can't actually see our template background anymore. Now these are just thumbnails, so I am going to draw over some of these, but a nice little way of doing this is by going to our blend mode over here in our layers panel and switching that from normal to multiply. And what you're actually going to find there is, you can see this one here, I can actually see the shot behind, so it's got like a little grey panel behind it, but I'm going to see behind. So I'm going to do that with the rest of these guys. Switch to multiply, and now I can actually see my layers as they are behind. If you don't like the grey stuff, you can always just use a paint bucket to fill that in, but usually I like a bit of tooth when I'm doing my storyboards for that. I'm going to shift select these guys. I'm also going to lower the opacity of them a little bit, so I really don't want the line work, the scrappy line work, to necessarily interfere with my drawings as I go over them. So lowering the opacity for those layers does help. All right, so that's kind of our first steps, is transferring your thumbnail sketches, copying and pasting them and transferring them into your storyboard template. Then once you've scaled them, change the blend mode to multiply, and then change or lower the opacity so it's getting ready to draw over your shot. So let's start with that, and then we'll go on to the next step in just a moment.